Should your business be using a monthly recurring revenue model or not? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, in this video, I'm gonna make your decision about whether or not to use monthly recurring revenue a whole lot easier. Let's dive in. What's good, everybody? Greg Hickman here, founder of Alt Agency, and welcome back. This is another video in this series around the topic of monthly recurring revenue and when and how you should utilize it. If you haven't seen the kind of first video in this series, go ahead and click the link right here and or in the description below, because I break down the 5 core problems that I see a lot of agencies run into when packaging up their services into a monthly recurring model, MRR as many call it, and the mistakes that we made and how that impacted our growth and profits along the way. So if you haven't watched that yet, go ahead and check that one out, and you can come back here, because in this video, we're gonna talk about really when it is appropriate to be utilizing MRR inside of your business. And like I said in the last video, this is a series of videos on the topic of monthly recurring revenue, how, when to use it, what should be included, etc. So any questions you have about this topic, be sure to drop them in the comment section below so we can make sure that we cover it in an upcoming video. And that being said, if you want to see what the upcoming videos are, you should probably go ahead and click the subscribe button and that notification bell, because we release a new video each and every week. And if you're enjoying this content and you're picking up what we're putting down, then you'll want to come back. So go ahead, click that button right now. So here's the deal. When should you utilize monthly recurring revenue in your business model? So in my opinion and experience, it is best to utilize monthly recurring revenue after an initial engagement, whether that is a project or some sort of program. So if you're a done-for-you service provider, this could be a very specific project with specific deliverables and scope, or it could be some sort of high-ticket consulting program or course or training that is an end-to-end, clear, defined definition of, hey, you're gonna have this thing by the end of this experience. Then once that is done, that is the best place to introduce monthly recurring revenue into your business. AKA, don't sell direct into a monthly recurring revenue relationship, because you're more likely to be seen as labor and labor alone. Now, here's the benefit of putting MRR after the initial engagement. You're gonna be able to capture as much revenue as possible to account for the upfront costs. Like many of you, when we get started with a client, there's upfront work to be done. And if you're just really spreading out the collection of that money into an installment plan to simulate monthly recurring revenue, it actually could be holding you back from growth. Because if you're losing money in those first few months, it's gonna prevent you from being able to hire the appropriate help. And honestly, if you're losing money on a client deliverable, the likelihood of you being able to go above and beyond and provide like exceptional service is gonna be practically not possible. So here's the mistake that I see a lot of people make is they'll sell their strategy in the form of an audit, and then they'll say, hey, well, we can execute that audit inside of some sort of monthly retainer. So I look at that as an executional retainer. Now, the problem with that is executional retainers usually lead to the ongoing support and maintenance, which are arguably the worst ways to have your MRR come in. Now, I'm not talking about, you build a website and then you're gonna sell them into a small monthly fee or a couple $100 a year hosting package. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's new work being done every single month, which is actually what a retainer is. A retainer should be paying you each and every month for new work being done, not an installment plan on work that had already been completed in the past. So I think there's really 2 ways to approach this for you to start to rethink and reshift or redesign how you are going to be packaging monthly recurring revenue into your business. Path number 1 is really more for the service-oriented business, for the done-for-you service provider. This is where you're going to get paid for your strategy, maybe an audit or the blueprint, then the execution or implementation of the blueprint, and then you're going to go into an advisory retainer. Now, I'm adding the word advisory retainer with very much intention, because retainers are best when you get paid for your experience, your knowledge. The fact that you could go to a client and say, hey, I've worked with 50 other people just like you. Here's what's going to happen next, or here's what we should consider, is extremely valuable. And you do not need to incorporate labor into that retainer for it to be valuable. So Ideally, after you implement the system or the engine or the build that you did from the second wave of work, because there's 3 phases here. Phase 1 is strategy, phase 2 is implementation, phase 3 is the get paid for your thinking and advisory. That's the kind of 3-part process that most done-for-you service providers should be following in order to get as much cash up front, get paid for their knowledge or expertise, and then ongoing have revenue coming in. Now there's a second option that usually comes after the first path. So a lot of times you'll do the service, you'll do the strategy, you'll do implementation, and you're gonna start to see loopholes. And you're gonna be able to package that experience up into a plug-and-play system, possibly into some sort of training and coaching or consulting offer. Now this could be more of a done with you offer and or possibly even some sort of a hybrid delivery model. And this is where you're gonna package up the strategy and implementation into one experience that could possibly be delivered in 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, that is pre-packaged. It's one-to-many, and there is a fixed price for that. Then you can go into an advisory retainer that is more like a ongoing training and coaching program where you offer support, playbooks, plug and play solutions. If you look at most high-ticket consulting models today, many courses, after that initial experience, there is an ongoing way to continue to work with that person. Sometimes it's heightened access, sometimes it's ongoing playbooks, and hey, now that we've solved this problem, we're gonna give you the systems and the tools and templates for the next one. It's a really great way to add on the monthly recurring revenue model as a secondary revenue stream after someone comes in through that initial experience, where you're gonna collect the cash, as much of the cash up front, to be able to deliver the highest value and highest touch of service as possible on the front end. So if you're in the middle of making a decision on how and when and if you're gonna use monthly recurring revenue, I hope you find this useful. And no matter what your service is, because we've worked with tons of different types of agency owners, freelancers, service providers across all different industries and verticals, serving all different types of clients, we've pretty much seen that almost all of them can almost immediately apply one of these 2 pathways, leveraging the existing thing that they're offering right now, just repackaging up, putting in a new box, putting a new bow on it, maybe renaming it, and figuring out the right price points and deliverables for each of those experiences, and you'll have a much more profitable, predictable, and efficient business moving forward. Now again, this is another video in a series of videos on the topic of monthly recurring revenue, when to use it, how, etc. So if you have any questions on this topic, go ahead and leave the questions in the comment section below. And if you have your own opinions on MRR, I'd love to hear them as well down there. I'll join you in the comments. And if any of this is resonating with you and you'd like to schedule a call with our team to chat about how you can actually take some of those services and package them up into training, consulting, into getting paid for your thinking as an advisory retainer, then use the link in the description below. Book a free 45-minute call with our team, and we can chat about what your services look like, how you deliver them now, and if we can walk you through our step-by-step process to launch this new, more profitable and efficient revenue stream with you in the next 90 days. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, see you in the comments below. Talk soon.